Hey guys, Rob here. So this week we're at Detroit Grand Prix at Belle Island for the GT4 Fixed, the Falcon Sports Car Challenge, and the IMSA Sports Car Endurance Race, which is a 2-hour race. If you have not done so already, please, I'd like to invite you to join my Discord at Sim Racers United. Link will be down in the description. And also at this time, if you have not done so already, I would like to ask you to hit that subscribe button, hit that like button, hit that notification bell, drop a comment down below. This video is not a lap guide. It is more of my frustration or my struggles with trying to learn this track. I will say I am 4 seconds off what the VRS coach, well, 4 seconds off of the VRS coach's lap. Still working on it. I'm still learning the track. It is a tricky one. And in my coaching session, the coach that we have for the GT series is his answer. He sums up learning this track in one word: get comfortable with scrubbing the walls. Now the thing about scrubbing the walls, it's great for learning the track. It's not like it's a real car. We're not actually damaging a real car here. But if you scrub a wall during qualifying, you're going to get a 0x, which is going to invalidate your lap. Some walls, depending on how you hit them, will give you a 2x, which is bad because that's obviously going to go against your safety rating. So with that, we've already started driving on the track. Let's get into it. Alright, one thing to note: hitting curbs is a bad idea, as they will usually send you into a wall. In my practice, on my first day of practice at this track, I was trying different cars. I tried the Porsche, I tried the BMW, I didn't try the McLaren or the Aston Martin, but the Porsche felt quick. I think it'll be a good car because of how small it is, because it's probably the smallest GT4 car. But if you hit a curb, it is so bouncy, and the BMW is almost as bad at bouncing as the Porsche. And at one point, if I remember correctly, I did roll the BMW over. I have to look to see if I saved the replay of that, and I think I'll make that a shirt if I did, because it's pretty funny. Alright, so how about a little lap guide for slow people? So we're coming up to the 400 meter. So brake at the 400 meter board, downshift to third gear for rotation. Stay in the middle of the track and set up for the left-hander. You want to track out as close to that wall as possible on the exit. We're going to come back to the left side of the track now, and again we're going to use the 400 meter board, which should be coming up shortly. There it is. We're going to downshift into second, rotate the car in. You can hit the curb with the Mercedes, the Porsche, and the BMW. I would suggest not doing so. Here we're going to stay in second, make this right-hander, upshift to third, get back to the right side of the track, turn in, staying in downshifting into second for that corner, downshift back into second. We want to try and get as straight at exit as possible out of turn 6. Coming through the kink, track over towards the left side of the track if you want, or do what I do and turn in at the 400, downshift into second, and also brake at the 200 meter board for that right-hander. Turn left-hander, second gear, and don't crash into the wall. I didn't say it was going to be a good track guide.
exit's clear. Watch the white line.
See why I say this is more of a video of my frustrations? It's super easy to lose the rear of the car. Super easy to wash out the front end and hit a wall. It's also fairly easy to forget if you have to make a right or a left-hand turn when you come up to a intersection, since it is a street course. And those who know me know I don't like street courses. So the fact that I'm even trying to do this race should say something, but I do also have to do this for all 3 series for my participation for the season. I have to do this race, and I have to do Mid-Ohio next week, which is another track I am not very fond of. It can be a fun track, but it's not a track that I particularly care for. But I will say, those that will also have been following me for a while, you also know I don't like Motorsport. And I do believe it was my first sports car endurance race win. I got that at Motorsport. So with that, I'm going to say I may not like a track, but I think as I learn more as a driver and get more acclimated with certain tracks, I think I am learning to appreciate some tracks better, like Motorsport. And I think in all honesty, I think with this track, I'm starting to appreciate street courses a little bit more. It's not a terrible track, it's just tricky, and it does have a decent flow to it. So don't write them off until you try them, and we'll see how these races go this week. Let's try this again. Alright, so we're coming up to the line. We're going to brake at the 400, downshift into third at the 200 meter board, start turning in. You want to stay in the middle of the track, and then you want to bring it to the left for the exit of turn 2. You want to get out as far to the wall as possible, then you want to swing it back over to the left side. And again, we're going to use the 400 meter board at this corner coming up right about now. We're going to downshift the second, rotate it in for turn 3. Get on the power. You want to try and get on the exit curbing as much as possible. Downshift the second, try to avoid the curbs. I can't stress enough, avoid the curbs. Downshift back down the second, rotate the car into turn 5. Back up on the power. Swing it out to the left, downshift to second. We want to try and get a straighter shot out of the turn 6 as possible. Then we're going to hug the wall as we're going straight down the straightaway. Bring it over to the left side at the 400 meter board. We want to be in line with the curb. 200 meter board, downshift to second. While slowing down, here I overshot the corner. Again, second gear, left-hander, upshift into third. Upshift into third. Alright, left-hander coming around this section as straight as possible. Downshift into second while braking. Stay as far to the left as possible. If you hit, there is a bump. If you hit it, the car will get loose like it did just there. Back down to second gear. Rotate in for this right-hander. Upshift to third. You can be pretty much flat out from here back to the start-finish line. That is the best you're going to get out of me for a lap guide. Here we are, the final kink. And we're coming back over the line. And we almost matched my fastest lap time to date.
1.3 seconds.
With that,
the
the delta's in the positive. And let's see if we can improve upon that time. with how easy it is to lose the rear or wash out the front. That's why I say this track is tricky.
97%, rear right, 97%.
But it does have a nice flow to it. It is actually fun to go around. As far as how it is with other cars on track and actually racing, I am not sure yet because I have not done a race yet. I'm not comfortable with it yet. I want to try and get my lap time a little bit lower before I actually do that. And usually, if you guys follow my channel, you know, usually I don't do my races until the weekends anyway because I got all the stuff going on Monday through Friday. So, you know, I'm in the stage of still learning and still trying to improve. This was my first session without the driving line on. So the fact that I'm getting close to where my fastest time with the driving line on is, I think that's an improvement because that's telling me I'm starting to retain where to do things around the track. Progress is slow, but lowering the lap time is progress forward. So you have to give and you have to take and you have to accept for what it is. I mean, it is ultimately the only way to really learn a track is with seat time, and more seat time is usually more improvement, right? So just my thoughts on this, and like I said, this is more of a video of my frustrations and my struggle to learn this track, and you know, I need to learn it if I'm going to have any type of shot at being competitive. Otherwise, I could just start from the pits, hang out in the back for 15 minutes in the GT4 fixed, or for 30 minutes in the sports car challenge. In 30 minutes, I'm sure I'll be lapped, and do the same thing for 2 hours in the sports car endurance. But in all honesty, what fun is that? There's no fun in that. I mean, sim racing, just like in real racing, you race to be competitive. You don't race to just hang out in the back of the field. I guess maybe some people do. That's not my nature. That's not what I like to do. I'll do it if I have to, but it's not something I do because I want to do it. And if I'm saying I have to do it, it's because I do not feel comfortable on the track at all. And this track, I'll be honest, I'm getting comfortable with it. So for those who may not know how Racelabs overlays work, on the track map, if you see that yellow dot is actually a different class car. That's an LMP3 on the track. The reason why I prefer practicing in open sessions, open practice sessions, is so that way I can get an idea of how the LMP3s are going to come around and pass to GT4s, and also to try and hopefully get a practice lobby that's more fuller with more GT4s, so that way I have an idea of how to get through corners with other cars and other traffic. So that's why you'll notice most of my practice sessions are not really just time trials or just practice sessions on the track in a test mode. So just wanted to let you know about that and why I do it. Finally some headway with this track for me. New personal best lap time, so that's a positive. Need to keep at it, and what I'm really trying to focus on more so than getting a faster lap time is to get more consistent with not crashing as often, with getting through the corner, with carrying as much speed as possible, which if I could work that out and get the consistency, at least that'll give me some sort of pace for the race. Now, in the past, I've turned just getting some decent pace in the race into a win just by virtue of not crashing and not getting crashed. So I may not be the fastest at times, but at the same time, the fastest guy doesn't always win. And just like I was saying earlier, I just brushed the wall back there, so I got a 0x for a contact, and that would invalidate a lap during qualifying.
That puts you 2.0 seconds off the leader's pace. right, 2 minutes left, 2 minutes. The track temperature's rising. It's now 82 Fahrenheit.
Alright guys, thanks for checking out the video. I hope you enjoyed that. Right now we'll jump into the Acura NSX and take a lap in this car. I did a couple of laps before my coaching session because the coaching sessions are usually focused on the GT3 car, not the GT4s. And the coach for the GT training sessions, it does the data pack for the Acura NSX. So I figured I'll jump into this car and do a couple laps before the session started. Here I'm actually chasing down a Corvette, but I tagged the wall, so that would invalidate the lap. Thing about this track is, like I said, you have to be comfortable with rushing those walls and using all the track width that way. So again, I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did like this video, please hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. It would help me out a lot. And we'll finish up this lap.
P3.
Left side. Clear left.